Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast coming at you with the recap for week 1 of the Midtown Brigade Fantasy Football League, baby. The best fantasy football league in the planet. Your boy, the defending champ, Team Garbage Man, repeats and takes down again your boy, Team Cruz. That's why we started this video on full slap here. Every week after week, I'm going to bring you back my recaps. All right, we're going to go straight to the league real quick. And, of course, we're going to start with my game. Your boy, Team Garbage Man against Team Cruz, which is a rematch of last year's championship game. As you knew, I blew out Team Cruz last year in the championship game. I became the champ. You know, story end, new season. Your boy, Garbage Man, has a target on his back. Team Cruz wants to really take on that revenge. And practically, you know, brought it, but wasn't enough. If you think about it, right? Team Cruz is so upset that he lost to me last year in convincing fashion that he went out there and drafted practically a third of the team that I had last year in order to beat me. He drafted Joe Burrow. He drafted Joe Mixon. I had both players last year. He drafted Deebo Samuels. All right. He needed to draft players that I won with last year in order to beat me. And guess what? It backfired the hell out of him because Joe Burrow started off with had five complete turnovers. All right. Joe Mixon had a solid game. Samuel had himself a touchdown, but also had a turnover. It was just an ugly game. All that work for him to get spanked by the champ. I mean, I spanked him so bad by double-digit points, 22 points, and that's with a really bad game that I had myself because guess what? Irv Smith, my tight end, had a goose egg, a complete 0, but I still took him down. And look, my kicker had 1 point. My defense didn't show up. All right. Elijah Minshew went out early in the game. I lost him for like 6 to 8 weeks, and I still beat him by 20-plus points. Again, Team Cruz needs to go back to the drawing board, man. All right? Because your boy spanked him again for a second consecutive game. I start 1-0. He starts 0-1. Different year, same result. I made Team Cruz my bitch. It is what it is. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. Is Team Rico against Team Broadway. Wow. That's all I got to say. Team Broadway had a no-doubter, has the number 1 scoring team in the league. He's going to get that number one scoring team money. Patrick Mahomes, who he picked really early, right now is looking like one of the genius pick because he had 49 points. I mean, look at Jonathan Taylor, 28-5. He had the number 1 pick, of course, of the season. But Michael Pittman, 28 points, 27 by Kelsey. The stack, smart move right there. The stack by Kelsey. And even Bucker, who left, he's now injured for the season, but it also went out, came back in and got him 9 points. But it was impossible. I mean, Rico, there was no end in sight. Henry, you know, he usually starts out slow, 8 points. Nick Chubb, he has a lot of good running backs here, but with Chubb and Henry, but it's not enough. I mean, Patrick Mahomes alone would have beaten the whole team by himself. 177 points. Team Broadway right now is looking sharp. Patrick Mahomes pick early that he did for a quarterback is looking like a freaking genius, man, all right? It was an absolute beatdown of Team Rico. It is what it is. There's nothing else said. It was just a complete beatdown. Then moving on to New Era and Maximus. Listen, man, New Era started pretty hot. He was leading this game until Maximus had a complete comeback, trailing early on. But his comeback was led by the beast of Saquon Barkley. Saquon is back, baby. Saquon Barkley had himself a monster game with 34 points. Cousins had himself a great game, too, with 25, which it was his second lead in scoring. Look, New Era started the game hot on Thursday with Josh Allen with 43 points. But then after that, it was all downhill. Apart from A.J. Brown, he didn't catch a touchdown. That would have been probably the difference of the game. He just had a subpar performance from Goddard. Godwin got hurt. The Cincinnati defense, I mean, the 49ers defense, I'm sorry, did not show up. Javonte Williams had a nice effort. But again, Najee Harris is one of his workhorses. He's lucky. He went out for the game. He went out injured, but he's actually going to be back next week. So he got lucky there. But at the end of the day, Maximus had a complete comeback trail here. He had a great comeback victory here because he was trailing most of the game until Monday night. He had a great game. And let me tell you something, ATN dropped a pass for a touchdown. It would have been even more of a higher beating here. But Rashad Bateman had that reception for the long touchdown there. That's what actually gave Maximus the edge. You know, hey, listen, you know, for a team in New Era that has 2 owners, it wasn't enough. 2 brains wasn't enough to muster a win. Maybe they should bring on a 3rd owner. It'd probably work out better next week, right? You know, somebody's hiring. Pick up a 3rd owner, man. Somebody, the commissioner should kind of like make that an exception. All right, waiver wire duds. My man, waiver wire studs, man, left off exactly what he left off last season, which is being the league's whipping boy. I mean, look at the score, man. I don't have to even say a lot. It's 69 points, under 70. It was just an atrocious beatdown by Vicious. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers, we saw what happened there. Kamara, Zeke, he's a big Dallas Cowboy fan. Thank God he didn't draft Dak Prescott, because if not, he probably would have scored like, 65 points. But this is 69 points. It's just, I'm not even going to go break down his team, because his higher performer was Tyreek Hill, and then his defense. That tells you what kind of week you had. Vicious was just unbelievable. Herbert had a monster game. Cup 32 on Thursday night. Then after that, the rest is history. Again, freaking waiver wire, man. He just, the guy just keeps taking L's after L's, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, whether he uses the waiver wire or not. It's just wrong how bad this guy gets beat down week after week. So, I mean, it's so bad that Vicious could have actually played 3 players short. He could have set 3 players and had 3 empty spots and still would have beaten waiver wire duds by double digits. I'm not kidding. Look at the score. All right, 156 to 69. He could have like had 3 players, 3 empty spots, and still would have beaten them by double digits. All right, here we go. Next, Team Bring It, brother, against Galamad on Wednesday. Hey, man, Team Bring It brought it heavy. He didn't look back. Convincing victory by 16 points. It was a close game on and off. Look, Galamad was talking a lot of smack throughout the week, man, especially to your boys, yours truly, the champ, you know. A lot of smack during the preseason. He was going to draft great. He's going to come out like a box of fire. I mean, just to have the 3rd lowest output of the week, kind of, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It's a young season. We got to start pretty quick. It's a lot of game left. But, you know, he needs to walk the walk before he could talk the talk. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he should need, you know, if he's going to talk smack, he needs to change his name to Galamad these nuts so he could get back on the horse. You know what I'm saying? Team Brigade, Kyler Murray, there's a matchup issue. 26 points, he did what he needed to do. Waddle with a nice big catch there for the touchdown, and he loves some Leonard Fournette, man. Leonard Fournette had himself an all-around game, 127 rushing yards. Look, Jalen Hurts going to have a good season on the ground. That was mainly the majority of the points. And McCaffrey, I don't think he's going to have that same game, so I think Galamad's going to find some comfort that McCaffrey's going to, it's going to kind of wake up and do what it needs to do. Jared Jeudy, man, on Monday night, he was the one that kept them closer to the game, but it wasn't enough. Again, Galamad, if he's got to talk the talk, baby, he's got to walk the walk. All right, and finally, but not least, Just Greedy and South Florida Spanish Ninja, man. I don't know how Just Greedy just finds himself in these games, man, where he loses by very few points, and the comeback is just like never enough. It's just short. It doesn't get all the way to the end. I mean, it came down to Monday night. It was a back-and-forth heavyweight fight. You know what I'm saying? Ninja had the edge going into Monday night. Greedy just could not muster enough juice to get over the actual hump. And let me tell you something. South Florida Spanish Ninja still got the dub, even with Dak Prescott shedding all over his bed. All right, and going out with 5.8 points because he was convincingly out there. I mean, Greedy had the opportunity. It just wasn't enough from Cortland Sutton. Jeff Judy had Cortland Sutton game. If he would have had Jeff Judy's numbers on at least 10 more points, this would have been it. Lamar Jackson had a great game. We got to see that a lot from Lamar with his legs and passing the ball. Just Mike Davis was a gamble, and, you know, it was one of those things, that backfield until J.K. Dobbins doesn't come through, it's going to be a major problem. He has some people on the bench. When J.K. comes back, that's going to be his running back, and I think it's going to be a good stack. But Justin Jefferson, man, that's what made the comeback for him. Justin Jefferson had career high receiving yards of 184 is what kept him in the game. And what actually made it close for him to attempt to make a comeback. Again, it's week 1, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Ninjas. He pulled out a close one, really close out of his ass here because of, usually the bad juju with Dak Prescott here. I thought it was going to be the omen that was going to give their victory to Just Greedy. Again, it's week 1, everybody. Anything could happen. Anything could happen week after week. We're going to have week 2 coming up. There's a lot of injuries. Waiver wire is on fire. Today is Tuesday. I'm probably going to publish this tomorrow. The lineups are going to look different, but there's a lot of things going on week over week. And let me tell you something. Let's look real quick before I close this out to the possible matchups. Team Bring It against Garbage Man. Again, this is a rivalry between goes back 30 years in sports. You know, nobody knows that, but your boy's going to take him down. That's Team Crew's older brother. I'm going to go back-to-back wins against siblings. That's what I do. I tear siblings down, bro, just like I did to the rest of y'all. Galamad and Vicious, man, Galamad's going to have himself a tough matchup, but let's see what happens in week 2. South Florida Spanish Ninjas and Maximus. Again, another coin flip here. Team Cruz and Waiver Wire Studs. I think, I don't know, man, after last week, who wants to bet on Waiver Wire? But anything, it's week 2, man. It's still early. Anybody can get. It's anybody's game. Team Greedy and, Just Greedy and Team Broadway. I think Team Broadway has a lot of ammo right now. And it's one of those teams that's made for the beginning of the season. I think he's got to take Greedy down. New York City Rico and New Era. New Era should bounce back. But again, this is just predictions. It's hard to do it, not like real sports, because it's fantasy football, baby. Anyway, that was my recap for week 1, man. We are back. The Midtown Brigade is in full effect. Your boy's going to bring this recap week after week. Thank you all for listening, man. Tune in to week 2. Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast and the returning defending champ for the Midtown Brigade Fantasy Football League signing out. Peace.